Welcome everybody to Mind, Body, and Soul TV, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios. We are also streaming, of course, on YouTube Live, as well as on Hangouts and at ConsciousEvolutionMedia.com. I'm your host, Coach Steve Toth, and I've been also the founder, and I'm still the founder of Conscious Evolution Media, going on 12 years. We're not going to talk about how many shows we've done because that would be bragging, and it doesn't really matter anymore. So we have a great guest with us this evening. Who's joining us is Jenny Manion from upstate New York, and she is a alternative healing practitioner as well as an author, and we'll find out what else. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Steve. So nice to be here with you.
It's great to have you. And of course, the first question is always, if I take away those titles I just mentioned, and all the other titles anybody in your life since birth has ever called you, if I take them away, what's left? Who is really Jenny Manion?
Jenny Manion is very passionate about helping others. I feel this passion from within because I was sick for a long time and had a lot of really grim diagnoses given to me. And I just know how powerful the mind is. It's so powerful when we get conscious. And it is my passion to teach others short, really quick tools to really just tap into that power within.
Fantastic. All right, so our theme for this evening is how to heal from within, which you just mentioned. And I'm looking forward to a very powerful show because I believe what you believe, but hopefully maybe on some things we'll have respectfully disagreeing on, so that we can make the show interesting. Because if you and I just agree, the show is over. Okay, so let's put some entertainment in there, shall we? So I know that you are a reconnective healing practitioner. So tell us a little bit about that experience. How did you get connected with reconnective healing? And of course, Dr. Eric Pearl is someone we have interviewed numerous times 2 years ago, and he's leading our top 10 chart on YouTube Live very often. So
nice.
Tell us about that.
It was actually a really interesting story how I found reconnective healing. After healing myself, I started to write articles and just started to add a bunch of books to my wish list, knowing that I wanted to learn a lot more. And my dad for Mother's Day sent a bunch of books to me. And when I held the reconnection book, my body started like vibrating. It was just this very strong connection, and I knew that it was something that I had to learn more about. And I read the book, and during reading the book, all kinds of weird stuff was happening. Lights were turning on and off. My husband at the time was getting really upset because any room I went in, things would start getting wonky in them. And actually one time there was a light by the bed that was on and it wasn't even plugged in. So all kinds of weird stuff started happening. So I knew this was something that, obviously I was getting signs. This was something I had to pursue. I got a session from a local woman, 3 sessions, and then the reconnection. And then I signed up to learn more. And it was a very powerful experience. The first time going into that reconnective healing seminar, I just felt energy like I never had before. To have hundreds of people in the room and to have those powerful practitioners, it was something that I had never experienced. And I just knew it would be something that I carried forth with me.
Very good. So we get a lot of opinions from people on that show, on one of the shows. Well, there's a couple of shows that we've done with Dr. Eric Pearl, and a lot of them are very positive and a lot of them are not positive at all. So what's interesting to me is that, and the reason I'm mentioning that is that people have all these opinions about things when they haven't even experienced something. And that's pretty sad, because I went to the seminar that Dr. Pearl invited me to, and I was able to experience it myself, that what he's doing and what he's talking about in the media is for real. I mean, I actually saw what he does and how he does it, and it's as real as you and I talking right now. So yes. I just think that's interesting. So do you still practice reconnective healing?
I do still practice it in my practice. I have a lot of tools I've added to my toolbox, but that's
Okay.
one that I do use, and it's beautiful because you can do it anywhere. I'm in upstate New York, but I've had sessions in Australia, all over Europe. Distance does not matter.
Yeah, because it's energy.
Yeah.
Energy is everywhere, and so are we. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about why, not really why, but how did you must have gotten really frustrated with the health industry because they kept telling you things, and you weren't getting anything that was positive. It was all doomsday, sounds like, which a lot of people receive these days. And you were probably, I'm assuming, I've done a whole series on health, which actually ended up on PBS, 24 shows on the new health conversation. And again, I found out on my own with all this research that was done that all doctors have time to do these days is spend 9 minutes with you. Most of the time is about greeting you and asking you what's going on. But as you describe what's going on, he's already writing the prescription. So that is the state of affairs. And then he says goodbye and it's over. So I'm sure, I'm positive that you received that kind of a treatment. And after so many of that and not getting any better, is it correct that you got frustrated and you probably said to yourself, there's got to be something else that I can do? And now I'm almost putting words in your mouth, so I'm going to turn it over. Now I'm turning it over to you, and tell us how did that happen?
I was really frustrated from the beginning. And you go for tests, and you get more diagnoses, and you're in doctor's offices for long periods of time and only seen for 10 minutes. It was very frustrating. I joined support groups, and they weren't supportive. There were people really kind of trying to one-up each other. It was really, really challenging. And I put out a few times, I just want to feel better. I'm a young mom. I don't know why this happened, but I want to feel better. But I had very much become my diseases. You go on the internet, you get the list of symptoms. Suddenly I'm manifesting the other symptoms I didn't have. I mean, you really do become them, and your doctors are kind of affirming that all the time. I get the pitying looks. So I'm so sorry for you. So a couple things led to me really being on that path. One was meeting a friend that saw me as Jenny, didn't see me as sick Jenny. And while I refused most pills, I would take a pain pill and go for a walk with her, and just started to find myself. And I think that put me in the right state of mind to watch the movie The Secret that a friend had recommended a year before. And during that movie, there were a couple things that resonated. The gratitude resonated because I was not grateful. I was sick and I was very ungrateful. I was saying how bad I felt all the time. Why me? I had very much become a victim, and just learned how the body's always recreating cells, and where we put our emotions. I was a psychology major. Where we put our emotions, it made sense to me that that's going to contribute to what kind of cells are being made. So I said for 3 weeks, I said I was not going to the doctor for a few weeks, and I'm going to just concentrate on listening to my self-talk. And I was telling myself, ow, I'm sick. Ow, this hurts. I wonder if I'm going to pass out today. I started listening to my self-talk, which was horrendous. And started being.
If you would be able to put that on outside speakers, what would happen?
It'd be pretty uninspiring. So no wonder I wasn't healing. I'm telling myself I'm sick all the time, how much pain I'm in all the time. So I switched my inner dialogue. I started watching a lot of Wayne Dyer, reading Deepak Chopra, reading Eckhart Tolle, and just really diving into that mind-body connection. Within 3 weeks, I was healed of all pain.
So would you say that you created the illnesses that you thought you had?
Yeah, I definitely, I do feel that. Yeah, you
mean that's how powerful you are?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. And I kept them going. Going to the doctors for more answers, not trusting myself. I mean, we get a cut and we heal because we're not obsessing over it. We know it's going to heal. But we suddenly get other symptoms and we're told to go to the doctor and to get more tests done. And we trust them because that's all we know. And I think they're in a broken system too. There's a doctor in my town that's beautiful. She started her own practice. She doesn't take insurance and she's with the patients an hour at a time. So there are people trying to rebuild it, but it's broken. It's a broken system.
Yeah, I agree. So I got to find something I can disagree with. I'm still looking. So talk to us about soul realignment. That's kind of interesting. That's another service that you provide. Tell us about it.
It is. I was trained by Andrea Hess, and it taught me how to go into the Akashic records. Which is the records of every emotion, every past life, everything living, and get the person's soul profile and characteristics, which is healing in itself, and then ask what blocks and restrictions are stopping them right now from advancing. And when I had mine done, it was transformational. Actually, when I had mine done, within like 2 days, the book, The Reconnection, showed up in the mail for me. So, and it just kind of unfolded after that. So at the time I was like, oh, I could never do this. I would never be able to do this. My abilities, this is way beyond. And a couple years later, I had taken a couple other classes with Andrea. She's like, oh, I knew you'd be back. This is something you're aligned with. And it really helped me trust my intuition and trust the answers I was receiving. Eric Pearl's work, The Reconnection, really opened up a lot for me, and I was getting information, but I wasn't really understanding where it was coming from, and I was wanting more answers, and the Akashic record reading just allowed me to get answers from a source that I felt like I knew more or less where it was coming from, and asking these questions and asking for guidance and healing for other people. It was just it felt like a really good tool to add with the Reconnection.
Oh, interesting. Is this something you could demonstrate for us here on the show with me, or does that take some kind of preparation before you could do it?
It does take a while. I mean, I do give guided Akashic journeys. That's usually about 45 minutes because I do want people to get into that nice, calm state. But it is something that I love to do. Usually I do the work on my own. I go into meditative state and get the answers and then share it with my clients. But I do give people guided Akashic journeys, which I love to do.
So 45 minutes obviously would not be practical because it would take up the entire show. But can you do just an introductory piece of it, of how you get access to the Akashic records? And
sure. I mean,
I'm just into walking the talk type of a thing.
Yeah. Well, it is about really like picturing yourself. I mean, how I do this, it's a meditation where I really get centered in my heart and I picture a ball of light, picture it going through my feet, through the earth, picture it going through Middle Earth. You can see different creatures if you want there, whatever you envision there, whatever you feel is there. I get to the center room and I pick up, it's covered with gold, and I pick up a bar of gold that has my name on it, and it goes way, way down through the earth on the other side. I see the moon and I go through the moon. I see the sun way out and I give gratitude as I'm going through all these places, go through the sun, go up, 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 see the stars, go up to the stars. And then I go to this place that is the Akashic Records. How I perceive it is almost like this vast library. And I meet my guides outside and I ask for permission to enter and to access someone's record. And how I access someone's record is by having their name, full name now, full name at birth, date of birth, and place of birth. And it really is a protected place. I can't go in just because, I want to see what that person's like at soul level. I can't do that. It really does require permission. If it was for my own well-being, I would be able to ask a couple of questions, but it really is about helping others. I can go into my own record and hope that I get accurate information. I do clearings for myself, but I like when other people do clearings for me as well. I like to be as objective and detached as possible. I love when people just send me their name and I have no idea who they are. and I'm able to do the reading for them, and they come back and say, wow, that is exactly me, and why have I repeated, this sounds exactly like this life, and I'll say it was 7 lifetimes ago that this situation happened. And we do repeat life lessons. We do repeat situations to learn from different angles. It's not punishment, you know, this is an experience. A lot of times humans will say things are good or bad. It's not good or bad. It's just we're experiencing things from all angles.
Gotcha. Very interesting. So you have also recently published a book, well, it was back in January, called The Short Path to Change. Very interesting title, because most people resist it, like, I don't know, I don't have a good word. What people resist most? Well, change. So, so why did you, what inspired you to write a book, and what, you know, obviously it's full of tools, so I'd like to get some ideas, maybe the top 3, top 5, if you have
Absolutely.
time.
Well, I'll tell you the sections of my book. There are 4 sections. The first part is getting rid of the old stuff, because we need to get rid of the old stuff to create the new. And that has a lot of the tools that I used, addressing the negative self-talk. Actually, it begins with forgiveness, though. Forgiveness and self-forgiveness is where it begins. And the tool of Ho'oponopono, which I found priceless in healing, in healing myself and in healing relationships with others. Negative self-talk, shifting attention. What are you putting your attention on? Are you putting your attention on everything that's really bad in your life, or are you paying attention to the other things? If you're in the moment, if you're stuck in traffic, are you cursing or are you blasting music, you know, to bring that joy to your life? Influences, who are you surrounding yourself with? What is your house? What does your office look like? Is it cluttered with junk? Are you not letting the energy flow? The roles, it was interesting you asked me that first question, because the roles we get very stuck in, looking at the roles and trying to just detach from them a little bit so we can find ourselves. The second section's all about chakras. So I do an introductory chapter on chakras and then one on each. And they take you through the emotional and physical components of each and what you can do to bring them into balance. And I give an exercise. All 30 chapters of my book have an exercise. Third section's on getting into the present moment. It has exercises. I think this is, well, they're all powerful and important, but the present moment is where all our power is. So this is pretty important. I talk about energy work and give really easy energy exercises to do. I talk about self-love, which is where it all begins. My inspiration for this book was I saw, after seeing clients for 7 years, everyone had the same stuff. We all struggle with self-love. We all have that negative self-talk going. It's something that we need to be aware of, so we can start to shift it. The gratitude is really important. That's tools to use in the present moment. Gratitude is my favorite thing of all, because we're giving love, we're giving presence, we're giving appreciation. It is so powerful. And I have my clients, it's beautiful to give great gratitude for everything around us and the people in our lives, but it's really important to give gratitude for ourselves. We will have no problem beating ourselves up for hours, days, weeks, decades sometimes over something we feel we said or did wrong, but we don't give ourselves 30 seconds of credit for all the things we did right, even in a day. So I have people concentrate on gratitude for themselves. And the last section's all about tools to use to move forward. And that means things are going to come across like self-sabotage and shadows, but it also means things like setting intentions and getting education in things we're passionate about.
So we've been talking a lot. That sounds like a very powerful book, by the way.
Thank you.
We've been talking a lot about on the network lately about duality, the nature of humanity, and how to raise above duality. Do you have any recommendations about that?
That is a tough one. I mean, it is, again, I would go back to that present moment. It's all about finding that power within and just knowing that we create that duality. I mean, we can be in our present moment and find love and joy, or we can find that sadness and grief. I just think that, yeah, the consciousness is the key.
Yeah. So you said a number of really important words earlier. and some of them are gratitude and appreciation and those things, which I completely agree with. So I just want to share something with the viewers, because I keep repeating this, but just like Dr. Pearl keeps repeating himself. And people expect us to, it's just like most of this stuff has been around for thousands of years, but we're not listening.
Right.
So that's why it has to be continuously repeated, because we're not listening. People have to hear it when they're ready to listen. So that's why I just keep doing these shows, because I know that people come and watch, and eventually we get to somebody who's open finally and ready to hear, and that's fine. That's what I'm doing this for. But what's interesting is I just wanted to mention to you what I've used, and I'm not saying that this is the only way to raise above duality, but this is one way that I know it works for me, and it may work for others, and that is to practice that word called allow.
Mm.
It's a very important word.
It's a challenging word.
Yeah.
It's a challenging word. We're taught to go, 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 and do and want. Allow.
Yeah. Allow is like, people go like, what do you mean allow? I mean, what I mean is just to allow to be in the experience that you are in right now, and stop wishing it to be different than what it is. And when we learn not to pick sides based on the experience and not to judge it, we just raised above duality. And it's a beautiful place to be, because I'm there a lot. I'm not saying I'm always there, but I'm there a lot.
It is beautiful.
It's magical.
Yeah, those moments are magical. Moments.
Yeah. So that's cool. And then I wanted to also have you share with us a little bit your idea of, and you mentioned another important word, and that's been a while back, and that is you help people figure out who they really are. So what does that mean? I want you to share that with the viewers.
It means that we do have all these roles. We do have, I'm Jenny, I'm mom, I'm girlfriend, I'm friend, I'm daughter. But who are you? You at soul level are so much more than that. So I think a great way to tap into who you are is find out what brings you joy. Because I think when you tap into those things that excite you and bring you joy, you're tapping into the trueness and the fullness of who you are. So, for example, when I'm dancing, I'm in another world. I feel like I'm almost not in my body. And that brings me such joy. When I get into the stream of consciousness of writing, that is so beautiful to me, because I'm not Jenny anymore. I'm present, I'm connected, I'm there. And we have so many distractions right now, and they just keep adding more and more. And now there's tablets, now there's this, now there's that. So to be able to turn off everything and get quiet with ourselves, nature is a beautiful place to do that too. But to get quiet, just ask ourselves who we are, what brings us joy. We certainly know what doesn't make us happy. We'll hear people talk about that forever. But what does bring you joy? What does make you happy? And the more we tap into that, the more our life is in flow. The more we tap into the joy, the more we tap into that gratitude for ourselves too. It's really important to have that self-love too, because at soul level, we're perfect, and the soul isn't going to be saying those self-defeating thoughts. That's the ego talking. That's not the soul talking. So really, to get to that place where we are pure love, so we can tap into that and achieve those moments of bliss like you were talking about, be in that higher space where we're not judging. We're not judging ourselves. We're not judging people. We're not judging everything around us. We just are. And that is such a blissful, beautiful state to be in.
Yeah. So do you think that people are, in general, having issues with dealing with how powerful they really are?
Oh, yeah. There's that Marianne Williamson quote. It's not our darkness that scares us. It's our light. That's exactly right. It is we're not told we're powerful. From the beginning, we're programmed that we're not powerful, that life sucks, then you die. You know, you work hard and then maybe you can retire. And, you know, if you're lucky, you can retire and you have a couple good years in life and then you die. You know, that's your life. We're really not taught how to tap into these important tools to go within and to realize that power. I think there's a lot of reasons. That's a whole nother show, you know, why that is. But it doesn't serve a lot of people for us all to know how powerful we are and to step into that power. And I'm hoping that I get to see, or my kids get to see in their lifetime, a shift where maybe meditation is taught in schools. I know that it is starting to be taught in some schools. And kids from an early age, they're so open. That's the best time for them to learn that. My kids learned reconnective healing really early. I'm so grateful for that. My daughter is very connected and loves that, loves healing, loves meditating, loves tarot cards. Like, I love that she has that in her life and has these tools. I mean, because when we have these tools, we do know we're powerful. You know, I look at my book as like a tool book to put in your bag. You know, if you need 5 to, you know, my exercises are 2 minutes to like 10 minutes long. Pull it out and open it up to a page, do an exercise, connect within. We need to know how powerful we are. And again, it begins with knowing what brings us joy, because in finding those passions, that's what brings us alive. I knew from the beginning I always loved to help people. Always had friends come to me for advice. It's something that I just always loved. I was a psychology major, so I did think at some point I'd make a living of that, but I never imagined it would unfold like this. But this is perfect. You know, being sick was perfect. You know, it allowed me to know what it was like to go to doctor's office. It allowed me to empathize with my clients on a deep level.
But it allowed you to find out how powerful you are.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It did. That was one of the most powerful things I've done.
And obviously you're dealing with it just fine.
Yes, I have. In almost 10 years. I have no problem. I've written a book. I always loved writing, been able to create a book and have it published. I found the love of my life. Like, life doesn't look like it did before. And that's the power of knowing that you're powerful, that you are a conscious creator. And if you aren't coming from that programming, that past programming, and you're really tapping into who you are, you can change your life. You can, and it doesn't have to be that long. You could have had a pattern in place 30 years, but it's not going to take 30 years to change that pattern. You know, it just is that consciousness around it, and being kind to yourself in the process of letting it go, not beating yourself up. Oh, I wish I knew this 30 years ago. You know, and I did that in the beginning of my healing process. Oh, I wish I knew that. Oh, these 7 years were wasted. But then, no, this is perfect. This is unfolding perfectly. And as you said before, just being in that present moment to know this is okay. This is beautiful. We're not in the past lamenting something. We're not in the future throwing our future worries there. But we're really in the present moment, knowing how powerful we are.
Great. So when someone is a request for coaching, who do you think is requesting the coaching? Their ego or their real self? Their
real self. I do feel. I mean, they're.
I'm going to disagree with you for the first time. So respectfully, I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear this. I've never thought of that question.
Now the show gets interesting. I've just been fishing to see when can I find a question where I can disagree with you. I'm just kidding. No, but really, no, it's the ego that's asking for coaching, because the source already knows all of it.
Perfect. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Why would the source ask for help?
The source doesn't need help.
No, but it's interesting what makes the ego get to that point where it does ask for help, because there's certainly a lot of people that go around miserable for their whole lives. So a lot of times there is something, I don't know, something switches or something. For me, it was the movie The Secret that connected with my soul, that maybe allowed for that to come forth, that knew I could heal myself. I didn't know I could heal myself, but I knew I could feel better than I did laying in bed saying how miserable I was for 7 years, you know. Something in me.
Well, it's a knowing. There's a knowing. Everybody has it. It's just most of us are not ready to hear it or not open to hear it.
Mhm.
We, it's unfortunate that, most people, but it's actually not unfortunate because it's how things are. So how things are is most people rather just, live small,
Mhm.
and they want to live within their comfort zone. Don't, it's almost like people have a do not disturb sign on their forehead. Don't bother me with anything because I'm just fine just the way I am, and don't shake up any of my thoughts or beliefs, or just leave me alone.
Mhm.
Just leave me doing what I
What I'm
what I was doing yesterday. I want to keep doing it today because I know what to expect,
But even
and
if it's
nothing will change.
yeah, even if it's painful, even if it's a self.
Uh-huh. Even if it's painful, it's fine because it's predictable.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ego will, it'll resist change. I mean, I
Mhm.
have that as a chapter in my book too, like how to move past the ego, because when you are ready and when you're taking that first action step, you're going to meet all kinds of resistance, and every step along the way you usually meet resistance. After I published my book, I met a lot of resistance and actually went to my book for tools because
Well, the ego says, "Hey, wait a minute! I've been in charge here. What are you doing?"
yeah, it's comfortable in this uncomfortable place. Stay here.
I'm getting demoted here. That doesn't feel or sound good. That's funny. Okay. So what do you think? I mean, you've been doing this for what, 7 years or more?
I've been doing that for this for
Working working with people? eight
about 8
years?
years. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So what I'm sure you've got quite a bit of feedback from people. What got them to the point to make contact with you? Like, what is it that occurred for them to say, I'm ready to talk to Jenny?
It really depends on the situation. If it's a medical problem, it is frustration with traditional care. They know that they have not been healing the way they've
Hmm.
gone, and they need something else. They're looking for something else. If it's emotional, I'm a pretty friendly person, a pretty loving person. I think
Hmm.
people feel that from me, and I'm not going to judge someone or be yeah, judgmental. I'm just going to bring love to them and show them tools. And everyone has their stuff. We all have our stuff in this life, this lifetime, past lifetimes. We all bring that forth, and we all deserve that kindness. That's why I love that prayer, Ho'oponopono. It is just appreciating ourselves at that level, understanding the energy we put forth to it, and the energy we give to other people too that we're contributing. I mean, if we're calling someone a jerk, for 10 years, we're really not allowing for anything else. One of the exercises is shifting attention, where I've had couples that they're in a bad pattern. They really can't stand each other anymore, and they were madly in love at one point. And I've had couples switch things around by starting to pay attention to the things you liked about the person, the things you still like about the person, instead of the things that drive you crazy. And it isn't a big shift, but it is a big shift. It doesn't take that much, but I've seen it repair couples, because to start to show that gratitude, to start to feel appreciated, it
But isn't it true, Jenny, that what drives us crazy about another person is what drives us crazy about ourselves?
oh yeah.
We just prefer to blame someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in 99% of the cases that's true.
What's the 1% when it isn't?
Well, I mean, if someone's being abused or something like that, it's not, I don't know if they feel abusive, it's just that, I mean,
But so wait a minute. This is going in a very good direction.
all right,
So since you
more arguments. Yay.
so we said earlier that we are so powerful that we create everything,
Yes.
right? So if we are in a relationship that it's abusive, isn't that something we're creating?
Yes, it is.
Or are we ready to say that we're a victim of it?
Well, we're gonna say we're a victim to it, and we'll very, very much feel a victim to it. But it takes some people a lot to really get to that point to be able to break out of that, because abuse is something that makes you feel smaller. And as I said, we all struggle with self-love anyway. And if you have someone affirming all your self-defeating thoughts, it's going to be pretty hard. It's going to be pretty hard to break out of that. And not impossible. People do it all the time. And I love giving people tools to break out of abusive relationships. That's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times people just don't feel equipped, and they feel beaten down, they feel threatened, they don't know how to make that.
So hold on. So isn't breaking out of something part of duality?
Breaking out of something part of duality.
What are you breaking out of?
You're breaking out of the cycle of abuse, breaking out of the victim mentality.
So one part of the duality is abuse, and what's the other?
What is the other? What is the other?
Well, the other is to be free from abuse.
Freedom.
To not be abused, right? It's the duality nature. So if I'm being abused, that's not loving. If I'm not being abused, that's loving. So, but breaking out to me means that we're still in duality. So what's another possibility besides playing the duality game? So what I'm trying to point out, not just to you, Jenny, but to the viewers, that we are constantly playing games. Okay.
Yeah.
Life is a game, and every sub portion of life is a game. And guess what? We either create the game and the rules, or someone else does. And knowing how to play the game is very important, because if you don't know how to play the game, what's going to happen?
You're going to lose.
Yes. we're gonna be the pawn. and it's interesting to me that people are not very interested in figuring out how to play these games. They rather be the pawn. So this is the approach I took with corporate America.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
And it's so interesting, because when I went into corporate America, it was like, and I've been in it before, like 12 years ago, well, actually maybe 14, I was in corporate America and I had no clue how to play the game. I had no clue. So because I had no clue, I resisted the game, and I resisted the rules, and I was basically eaten up by the game. Right. And that's what happens with people. And I don't care if it's corporate America or it's a relationship or whatever the game is. If you don't play by the rules, you don't get to raise above the duality nature of the game, and you get to be a pawn, and you're not going to win. And that's no fun. Not winning is no fun. It can hurt.
Yeah.
So what I just want to point out to the viewers, that knowing the first base, I guess, is to understand that we're creating it all. So whatever it is, the person, let's say the person is being abused, this is how powerful that individual is that can create that experience. That's huge. And people don't realize. They think it's happening to them. Right. Somebody else is abusing them because they are a victim. And I don't believe in that, because I believe that everyone, and I know you do, everyone comes from source. We are source. We just don't understand how it works.
No, well, we're not taught. We're taught poor curriculum in school. We're not taught.
They're teaching us 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And meditation would be these tools. If we were taught these tools, these empowerment tools, there wouldn't be abuse. They would care enough about themselves. Wait.
Now you did it again.
Oh,
So if there's no abuse, there's no love. Okay? The only way to exist in this duality nature of life, and unless you can tell me that you know a different way of living in this reality, I haven't figured one out yet. I'm still in this reality. I'm here talking to you. So if we take away, because this is what the personal development industry has been doing for decades, and I'm trying to bring it to everybody's attention, that everybody's doing this, even the ones that are writing these fantastic books. And I'm not talking about your book. I'm talking about the greats. They are doing it too. So the thing is that we can take away war to have peace. People want to stop the wars, and they think that's going to create peace. No, that's not going to happen. Without peace, there is no war. Without wars, there's no peace. Without love, there's no hate. Without hate, there's no love. So what's the alternative?
What is the alternative? What is the alternative?
The alternative is to know that and allow for it. Allow for the experiences
and to consciously
be what they are. It's not that you can't. Well, you consciously create your life, yes. Sure. You have to become more and more aware of what it is that you're creating, and know that what you're creating is a message. It's trying to tell you something. So when you were sick, it was trying to tell you something.
Oh yeah.
And it kept happening until you paid attention. But
it got louder and louder.
But who made that happen? It was you.
Yeah.
You created it.
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah. And the universe and these messages will get louder and louder until we listen. That's why it is important to be quiet and listen and not distract ourselves with 20 things at a time.
Right. I agree. I just wanted to point out effectively, and hopefully I have, is that we can't make, like, there's this utopia that people are still talking about and want to create.
Not possible, heaven on earth.
In this reality, we have to figure out how to move on from this reality, which is the duality, and it's possible. But until we can raise above duality, guess what? That ain't happening.
Right. Right. But I want that utopia. I want that
we can have it. There's no question. I have no doubt in my mind that can happen. But we have to. It's like you've done your healing. It's like one step at a time.
Right.
So first, you said all the important things. It's in your book. First, people have to realize that they have some stuff they have to clean up. They have to figure out who they really are, and who they really are. Well, they are unlimited possibility. They are consciousness itself. They are source itself. But people go, what? You mean to tell me? And this is what Jesus was trying to tell us.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't listen back then, did we?
No. And it was interesting because I went to Catholic school for a little while, and I did not like the way Jesus was taught at all. I didn't resonate with it at all. It wasn't until after, and when I started hearing about Jesus after healing, I even met that little resistance from growing up. And when I started learning more about him, I was like, he was the most wonderful healer of all, you know?
Well, yes, but you see what happened is the Catholic Church and other religions came around, and they changed it. They changed it, and they basically focused on how to put fear into people and how to control them.
And he was not about that at all.
He was not about that at all. No.
He was able to walk among lepers and prostitutes with no judgment, and I'm not afraid of getting leprosy. He was it was pure love.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're that too.
Yeah, we are. Although you might wonder sometimes.
No, I don't. I don't.
Well,
I don't even wonder about Hitler. And I know I'm going to get emails now, but that's okay. I don't even wonder about him, because guess what? He did what he did. He was who he was. And you have to allow for it, because guess what? Without what he did, without the stuff that he created, that just created even more balance in the world, more love, more hate, more love, more hate. It has to be balanced. Do you see that in this reality?
Above that, I want the utopia. I mean,
I know you want to, and you can raise above it. And the way you can raise above it, one way you can raise above it, is to pay attention to when people are supporting their duality nature. That's what I know, because that's what I'm paying attention to. I'm paying attention to for myself. When am I taking sides? When am I judging? Because as soon as I'm taking sides, and I'm having, let's say I'm having a negative experience, the first thing I do is I notice that I'm having a negative experience. And what's different about my life than it has ever been, in the past, when I was not conscious, I would react to the negative experience. And isn't that what people do?
Yeah.
And it just spirals down, you know, and that's how wars are created, and that's how all this stuff goes on, is people are reacting. So now how I'm experiencing my life is I still have negative stuff going on in my life, but what that's also funny about the industry is a lot of people in our industry wants to ignore and deny that there is negative stuff going on. They just want to talk about the positive stuff.
Yeah.
And smile. And that's great, but it's not real.
Right.
That's not real life. And so I have negative stuff coming up in my life, and then I notice it, and I go, oh, I can catch it. I can catch, and I'm not reacting. I can catch it, and I can go, well, guess what? I have to allow for this because it's happening. So I'm allowing it. I'm allowing to feel whatever I'm going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just goes away. And I don't take sides. I don't judge it. I just go, okay, this is an experience. It's just an experience. And I remind myself that I created it. And then I ask the question, is there something in this experience for me that I need to learn? What is it?
That's a perfect question.
Yeah. Obviously, I created it. So what's the reason?
Right.
Why?
Why? I ask that a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, most people don't even they get taken away by that experience, and they don't get quiet to ask that question. It is such an important question because we will spiral, and our habits, we will revert to the habits, and some people will self-sabotage, or they'll numb out, you know, use drugs or alcohol or whatever it is to numb out.
I've been there, done that. But it's just a temporary fix.
Right.
All of that is just temporary fix, including coaching is a temporary fix.
Yeah, we have to do the inner work. No one can fix us. We need to do that inner work. And it has to be an ongoing conversation. Our body's always talking to us. Are we listening? Are we paying attention to what our body is telling us every day? Yeah. And going in, and we can create, all right, so the whole world can't be in this utopia now, but we can create our life as heaven on earth. You know, we can have that experience where our life is mostly in that blissful state. And yeah, we will have those negative experiences. I don't feel like we can control everything and everyone around us, but we can choose what we call to us. And if what we call to us is negative, we can ask that question, why?
Well, wait, you just did it again. So you said, I don't think we can control everybody around us. Well, so who's the programmer and who's the program? Who creates the program and who's the programmer?
Well, we do.
Who's we? You're funny.
We do. But
that's right. So yes, you can control everything around you because you're the one.
Yeah. So we can create.
That's what the Matrix was trying to tell us. Did you see the Matrix?
Yes, I did.
You are the one.
Yeah. We can create our lives. I mean, I feel like that's what I've done. There's still negative experiences that happen. There's still negative experiences that happen to friends of mine that I feel too.
But it's not, the objective is not to get rid of the negative. If you get rid of the negative stuff, how are you going to have positive?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do that if you can figure out how to live in a different dimension. And that's available to all of us.
I want to do that.
But I haven't figured that out yet. I'm still here. So, you know, I gotta learn what I need to learn next based on where I'm at, and I'm here. Mm-hmm. And what I'm learning, doing this Conscious Evolution Media stuff that I've been doing for 12 years, really, this network is really about me and about my own growth. That's how selfish I am. And I'll probably get emails about that too, but guess what?
You're helping others in your learning process. You're helping a lot of other people.
Yeah, and I gave up. I gave up completely. I let go. Who's going to get whatever they're going to get out of what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not paying attention to that anymore. I'm just paying attention to what I'm getting out of what I'm doing. and that's the only thing that's important. The rest of it is is up to everybody else, not up to me. What's up to me, I'm doing. I'm walking the talk. I'm doing this stuff not just here on the network, but I'm doing it in corporate America. So guess what?
Personal life, which is the most important.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
where this is just, and this is why I don't. It's nothing against writing books,
right.
But the next thing I'm going to do is make a movie, because I am not the type that would enjoy writing a book. Mm-hmm. I don't enjoy writing, but that's just who I am. But I enjoy television. I enjoy this. Like having this dialogue with you is intimately powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been having goosebumps, and just noticing sometimes what you say and taking that as a like a shiny jewel, or maybe not so shiny yet, but picking it up and say, hey, what about this? You know, and see where that goes, you know. And so all I'm doing these days is just noticing, not just myself, but noticing even the professionals like you, our conversations and the words that we use and how we use them.
And I do think it is important to walk the talk, and I have found that, unfortunately, there are a good number of spiritual teachers I've found who are not doing that, and it's not.
They're like exception.
You know, that's all I can do.
They're an exception to the game. They can do whatever they want whenever they want, and we know who they are.
But I wouldn't feel right. That wouldn't feel right to me. I would feel, and I check myself a lot, and I ask my friends to check me too. I want to be walking my talk. That is of utmost importance to me. My integrity is everything to me. I'm teaching people, you know, from that love heart space. That's got to be clear. I can't be bogged down, and I never really understood. I mean, I do understand on that why people lie. You know, it's the protection thing. But for me, that would be really, really hard, because I wouldn't feel right inside. It would be like I don't know, something very.
But wait. So you just did it again. So how can we tell the truth without lying?
We can tell the truth from the truth of ourselves. What we know
but we have to know lying for ourselves.
Oh yeah, I've been lied to.
Yeah. but have you lied, Jen?
Oh yeah, as a little kid, but I was horrible at it. Maybe that's why I don't like it.
And you no longer lie.
No, I don't. It makes me feel. It would make me feel very uncomfortable. It would make me feel very uncomfortable, and I always feel like it's hard enough for me to remember what's real. Why lie and add to that confusion? Different stories. I had a friend in high school that would, you know, tell 3 of our best friends all different stories. I'm like, do you think we're not going to all be in the same room and tell that? And how do you keep track of who you tell what to? And that must be cause a lot of turmoil inside.
Yeah, interesting. So let me ask you this. So do you think, is this part of people figuring out who they really are? And when I say is this, what I mean by that is to be able to go inside of themselves and find the darkest part of themselves and be able to accept it.
Yeah, we need to find our shadows. Absolutely. I have a chapter on shadows and self-sabotage in my book. Those are really important places to go, and to love that. We would not have been doing those behaviors if they didn't serve us in some way. You know, if they didn't.
So do you think that a lot of people resist that they don't want to go there?
Oh yeah, it's terrifying, because we're so hard on ourselves already, and you're telling me to go to something that I don't like about myself and look at it. It's another reason to beat themselves up, and they don't need that. They don't want that. That's not a calling to them. I do believe it begins with the self-love and self-acceptance, and that's a really hard thing. Almost everyone client I say, you need to start with Ho'oponopono, and it begins with you. And most of the time they will say they broke down crying, saying it's a very powerful exercise. It's very powerful to connect with source and know that we are more, and know that we're loved. If someone has had a very difficult childhood, they might not have experienced that unconditional love from a family member. So they take that with them. They've always had it inside, but it hasn't been nurtured. So it might be harder for them to tap into. And when they do, you know, maybe they repeated the cycle of abuse or something too, because that was what they came from and what they felt they knew. So to ask some people to forgive themselves is really hard. I've had people on my table that are like, "You're not going to look in my head, are you?" You know, like really nervous that I'm going to find some deep, dark thing and judge them or be appalled by it. And that's sad. It's really sad because we do all have that unconditional love in us, and we do all have this inner power. And it isn't that hard to tap into. It's just we're not given any tools to do so, and we're not even told we can do so. You know, a lot of times, you know, this was woo-woo stuff for a long time, and it's just starting to get more popular that meditation is introduced into some schools, and there are so many more, you know, light workers or people studying consciousness, you know, like you. Bringing this work to corporations is brilliant. It's so needed. It's beyond needed, you know. I mean, thank you. And, you know, I can't even imagine what that journey was like, because I know my dips into corporate America have met a lot of resistance from me. A lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing it in a sneaky way. And the way I'm doing it is I'm allowing for everything that they are. And I'm also playing the game the way they designed it. See, where I went wrong before is I resisted the way they designed their game. And like I said before, if you resist the game, the way you play a game, the game will eat you alive. And I've done that many times before. So this time, I'm playing the game exactly the way they want me to play it, by their rules. And the attention is then taken off me, so I can do the stuff. Because you call attention to yourself when you're resisting.
Are you doing energy work under the table?
I'm just being who I am, and I laugh a lot, and I joke a lot, and I create an atmosphere where there is ease and there is joy, and it's been going on now for a year. I mean, I started when I first stepped in it. I said, everybody that I came across within the organization, I said, "Did I tell you today that I love it here?" And they was just like taken back, like, "What the hell? What do you mean?" And nobody has ever said that. And then I kept it up, and I keep it up to this day. And they just go, "Yeah." And other people got on the bandwagon and said, "Did I tell you I really like it here?" I says, "No, not today, you haven't. But thanks." And we just keep doing it, you know. And it's just. And at first I didn't even believe it. I just faked it until I believed it.
That's good. You're doing a valuable service.
And that's how this stuff works, you know. And it does work. I mean, this consciousness stuff does work, but it has to be played correctly, like the way I'm describing it, at least for me, because at first I did have resistance, and I had to remind myself, wait a minute, I can't resist anything, and I had I butted heads against you know, between some people, me and some people, and I had to remind myself, hey, what's happening here is what I don't like about them is what I don't like about myself, and I had to get over it. I said, there's no way to raise above this unless I heal that, and I healed it within me. So it's not. None of this work that I'm doing in corporate America is about them. It's all about me.
But you're helping.
I'm not fixing anybody there. I have no intention to. I'm just being who I am and see what happens within the energy.
You're the catalyst for change.
Yeah, and I'm just paying attention to the energy, and it's crazy. It's absolutely totally different than what it was a year ago. Wow. It's a place that people now want to come to work. You know what? This is a corporate environment where I got the CEO just last week to buy a ping pong table. That's unheard of in this industry. In this industry, in a bank buying a ping pong table for the employees is unheard. That's heard of in Google. That's heard of, you know, at Apple computers, but not in the banking industry. But guess what? It's happening, and I created it.
That's awesome.
And it's not to give myself credit, but it's like yes, I have given myself credit, but it's not about that. It's about there has to be things within that industry that helps with stress. People are tremendously stressed out.
Yeah.
And there is nothing better to do when somebody gets frustrated with a client or frustrated with a project, to be able to go into a room and just play some ping pong,
Mm-hmm.
Just get your mind off of what's going on right now and just have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually are open to it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so many people benefit from that, and that just adds to that vibration.
Yeah. So that's it. So I would like you to tell the viewers where they can go contact you on your website, and where can they get your book. Just those type of things. Just give out some contact information if you will.
Sure. You can find me at JennyMannion.com, JennyMannion.com. You can get my book, A Short Path to Change, on Amazon, on BarnesandNoble.com, in some bookstores. You can order it. And yeah, I mean, right now I have 24-hour special on Akashic Records, 50% off. So, and if you go to my site, you get a free downloadable 9-minute guided meditation, first chapter of my book, to check out my work, see if I resonate. So I offer a lot just for subscribing.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Jenny, the conscious hour is over, and I always prove it on the network that time does not exist. Time and space does not really exist. It's not real.
No, it's not real. Yeah, we use it for just convenience sake.
Our convenience, yeah. So you and I could meet at a certain time. So, Jenny, you've been absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed spending this conscious hour with you. The dialogue was incredible. You shared some incredible stuff about where you've been and how you came into what you're doing these days. And I'm sure we have, in many ways, answered the question, how to heal from within, which is what the theme was.
Thank you so much, Steve. I had a lot of fun with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Same here. So for everybody else out there, if you were touched, moved, and inspired by anything that Jenny said, go to her website, or also come to Conscious Evolution Media. Go to our YouTube channel, which has almost 2,000 shows on there. And the more you watch this show and any other shows, they climb up on the top 10. When they get to the top 10, they can go to public television or to a cable show, or who knows what else we're going to be doing in the near future. Thank you so much, Jenny. Have a great evening, and I'll see you guys on the network tomorrow, same place, same time. Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye.
You too. Bye.